Hey guys, welcome to Claudia's Corner. You guys know me from pushing buttons. This is just a little side thing other than the podcast. This is going to be on YouTube, so it's not really going to be on like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or none of those other streaming platforms. It's just videos, chill, something fun, a few conversations. I'm sure Keith and B are going to be coming out with something fun for you guys as well for the YouTube channel. So just stay tuned. And when they do come out with that, make sure you go and you watch it and you guys show it some support. So I am here with my first guest of Claudia's Corner.
Hi, I'm Leah.
Leah is my sister. And today we're going to talk about Disney. And this is take 2. Because my phone decided to act up. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it works this time all the way through. And it's nice.
That right now.
Yeah, and it's nice and smooth. And it's good. It's good. Okay, so we were basically talking about Disney, right? And so we're just going to jump right into it just because we already did this whole thing.
Yep.
We were talking about our favorite Disney films, some of our favorite Disney films, some of our favorite Disney live action remakes. Mm-hmm. So, Leah, one more time. What's your favorite Disney movie?
Tangled.
For me, it's The Lion King. I love The Lion King. It's a great movie. I had the biggest crush on...
I still find that weird.
I had the biggest crush on Simba.
Weird.
I thought that all lions looked like that. I thought the smooth, silky hair.
I'm very disappointed.
And then I look at real lions and I'm like, oh, this is what they really look like.
I know you thought you had a chance with lions.
I know. I mean, that would be very troublesome. That's illegal, I'm sure. But okay, so I know that with The Lion King, there was a live action created. Mm-hmm. It was okay. I feel like some things were not put into the film that should have been put into the film. I don't know how you feel about the Lion King remake.
I liked it. I didn't have any emotional attachment to the Lion King.
Right.
So I was like, when things weren't there, I missed them completely until you mentioned them. So it just flew over my head, and I think that's probably what happened to most people. So if you weren't like a Lion King fanatic, you probably didn't notice. But it was good. I liked it for the most part. It looked very realistic. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It wasn't amazing, like, oh my god, but the fact that there were some things that were missing, I was kind of disappointed. I was like, for people who followed the movie that since they were younger, it's kind of like, wait, but this was in the original, but you're not gonna put this in the remake of it. But it was good overall. I mean, I was content that they did that. At least as a fan, I'm gonna be happy with anything they do with The Lion King. I wish the hyenas would have been...
I thought they were going to laugh more. I was very disappointed.
Yeah, I thought that because in the original, they're more comedic, right? They're funny. They make you laugh.
They're like psychotically hilarious.
Yes, whereas in the live action and in the film, they made the hyenas seem just like villains, and
yeah, they were a lot more cynical.
Yes, they didn't have which I can see why Disney would do that, because they were kind of trying to make it seem a little bit more realistic. Mm-hmm. But you know, sometimes we just want a simple remake. Just keep it how it is. And don't change it. That's it.
It's fine. Just leave it as it is. It's
right.
Good.
Exactly. Hopefully with Tangle, they make a remake at some point.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I'd be so stressed if they mess it up, though. I'd be like, you need to stop.
Right. You'd be a little nervous.
Yeah.
But maybe they will. Maybe soon. I mean, I feel like Disney's coming out with a lot of those, so we will see what happens.
Are they still doing Ariel? I'm still on the edge about The Little Mermaid, because I love that movie. So
I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
I have no idea since they've talked about it, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about y'all doing a live action Ariel. It was one of those things. You don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that this whole live action era started with Maleficent, and I think Angelina Jolie did an amazing job, and one of the Fanning sisters,
we don't know which one.
I forget. I honestly forget the names. She also did an amazing job being Sleeping Beauty. I think overall that cast was also it was good, and I think it started this whole era of trying to. I feel like there's an era where people, or not people, but directors and film producers and all of these creators of film are trying to give you this background on the villains. Yeah. Right? Like, I feel, because, we get that with the Joker all the time. I think he's one of those villains that everybody wants to know more about.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We never found out what his real origin story is.
Exactly. So, and there's so many different stories about him.
There's like the Killing Joke, and then there's like Joker, which came out in 2019.
Right,
there's
right.
like a bunch of stuff.
So there's like many different films of the Joker that give you an idea of who he is, but it feels like none of it is true to
he's like an unreliable narrator.
Exactly. And I feel like this ties perfectly into also something that Disney's making. Like, what would be... I know Disney has created some movies recently of villain, but from the villains that you know of the Disney movies, what would be a villain that you're like, I wish they did that?
Ursula. We don't hear about Ursula. Like, I feel like she's one of those there's like that group of villains that were kind of forgotten. And it was like Dr. Facilier. He's also in that group of villains that people just forget they exist. And I'm like, they're some of the coolest villains.
And he is from Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Something very interesting for those who like American Horror Story. This is a American Horror Story character, and I realized it because in American Horror Story there is a season that's based in New Orleans, and I know Princess and the Frog is based in New Orleans, and they talk a lot about this man. I forget the name that they give him, but he's basically, representing the devil or the dark side, and he's just this horrible man who takes babies as sacrifices. At least
go that far in the Disney
movie, this is what it is in American Horror Story. So when I realized that Disney made that connection, and they made it with how, like, I feel like New Orleans is known for like the voodoo of it.
And he was called you mess with the voodoo man.
Right. So it's very interesting that Disney, even that, they put that in there, because usually they're a little bit more like...
They're a little more like, let's leave that out.
Let's leave that out. Let's not become... But I feel like Disney's trying to become a little bit more inclusive of different things.
Yeah, I think it was he's a super cool villain.
Yeah.
Also has a super cool... I think the villains... Why do they get some of the best songs in these movies?
Yeah.
Like... Ursula's, I don't even remember the name of her song, but it was good. Like, I remember, I loved the Little Mermaid. I had a Little Mermaid doll that sang. She was kind of terrifying after the age of 8, I had it. And, like, Dr. Facilier had Friends on the Other Side, which was such a cool song, and, even animated looked super cool. Mm-hmm. But I think they would both be super cool to see how their backstories worked. Because there's a bunch of, like, speculation that Ursula was, like, Trident's sister, and she got, like, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, Ursula is a very creepy character.
She was terrifying.
I have a picture with Ursula my first time at Disney, and I was just terrified. I was like, But moving on, recently they created Cruella. Mm-hmm. And I think that we can both agree that the best, remake and live action has been Cruella. The worst, we can agree, has been
Mulan.
We didn't get any of that. Let's get down to business.
I lost it.
There. It was a horrible film. Don't watch it. We literally turned it off. It was bad.
Midway.
But Cruella was an amazing film that Disney created, and you could tell they took their time with it. And if they didn't, well, they sure as heck did an amazing job.
Yeah.
personally, I think it was a beautifully created film. The detail with things, the fashion, everything. It was just amazing.
Yeah, because I watched a video kind of speaking on more the production of the film and how it, like, when it was based, they were like, they did so good in creating this film and creating kind of the world building. And it's like it's based in London. Yeah. So they were like in the 70s, I think. Mm-hmm. So they were like, it's when the fashion industry was booming with all of these new people that were coming in. And it's when punk rock was also booming. And I was like, I like how they incorporated that into the movie and made like kind of like that punk rock fashion show scene. I found that to be the coolest thing ever.
Right, yeah. I did notice that punk rock definitely did have a major play in this movie.
Yeah.
It played a major role. It truly did. You could tell that they tried to bring it all together properly. Mm-hmm. And I think Cruella was a great example for that, to be able to bring the cultures from the different years. And I mean, they did an amazing job. They truly did. And like, there were points where I was like, wow, okay, I mean, you're too young, but Kate Moss, like, it just gave me such Kate Moss vibes. And for you, those of you who know who Kate Moss is, if you watch the movie, you're going to know what I'm talking about. I feel like back then, like, those high-end models, they gave you that rock and roll life, and that's what fashion was like. Now fashion it's very different now.
Yeah, it's
to what it was before.
Like, straight lining.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But I think that with Cruella, I love that that's the route they went. I love that they took her out from that whole idea of all she wants to do is kill Dalmatians and wear them.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, because I like how they still incorporate it into the movie, but didn't do it in the way I thought they were. Right. I remember you told me to shut up mid-movie. You were like, just watch the movie, okay?
Right, yeah, because they, I think they did a really good job with that. And you'll have to watch the movie. We don't want to do any spoiler alerts. The first time we recorded this, we did a little spoiler, so we're trying to keep it the least spoiler as possible,
vague as we can.
Exactly. So but with Cruella, what was your favorite scene, or which was your favorite scene?
It was just like, the rock and roll kind of like fashion show thing, because mind you, that song, like, I played that song in the car. That was so good.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those scenes where I was like, oh my god, it's Cruella. It's no longer Estella.
Right.
And it was like, you could obviously see that this is what Cruella was made to do.
Yeah. And
it's like knowing kind of the origin of like how Cruella was kind of created and how it was engraved in her that she couldn't be her.
Right.
It was kind of super cool to see her finally be able to be that, and see the Baroness also watching her become this.
Right, yeah.
And it was just one of the most marvelous things to me.
Yeah, because, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Cruella becoming Cruella, because everybody wanted her to just be like, you're not Cruella, you're Estella. Yeah, right? So people just wanted to shape her to who they thought she was.
Yeah.
But I loved her transition into Cruella because it was very graceful.
It was very smooth. Like, she knew what she was doing, and I really liked how you could even see her acknowledge some of the points we're making right now. She says it in the film.
Right.
And it's one of those things where I was like, I like how she was self-aware. They also didn't make a villain that thinks they were like the good guy. Yeah. And it was like,
she knew. She knew.
She knew what she was doing, and she knew she was the villain in other people's stories.
Yeah.
And I think she very much, she was not ashamed of it.
She was not. And I think that throughout the movie, like, once you get to that part in the movie where you're like, aha, that makes sense why Cruella is Cruella. But in a sense, you can still see that, yes, maybe that was a reason, but deep down with Cruella, even though that villain came out of her because it's just how she naturally is, she's a good person, because she never left behind those that were with her since the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. Again, I think the dogs did such a good job. Like, whoever trained those dogs, they were the cutest dogs. I hope the dogs were treated nicely and with respect.
One of those dogs, I remember I had an obsession with the Descendants movies.
Yeah.
The dog in the Descendants movie, the same dog in that. And
oh,
the thing
really?
Is that the dog is Carlos, like Cameron Boyce.
Yeah.
He was the one who handled the dogs in the movie, in his movie. So the fact that they used the same dog of Cruella's son to be in the Cruella movie was one of the. I love that.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It was one of the best things to just find out. And
oh,
be like,
wow,
that's cute.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like when Disney does that. I know Disney's known for doing that, but that's so meaningful because if you guys don't know what's his name again?
Cameron Boyce.
Who Cameron Boyce is, he passed away about 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2019.
2019. He was an amazing little actor. I mean,
he was in Jesse. I was not gonna lie, I was in love with him.
Yeah.
So it hurt me to find out.
Yeah, it was sad. I wasn't a fan, but it definitely was sad because I remember seeing him in Disney, just this little freckled kid. And he was a good actor. He truly was.
He was.
But unfortunately, due to some health conditions, he passed away. So, he's resting right now. As people say, hopefully in a better place. Just kind of admiring all of those people that admire him. But yeah, going back to the dogs, I think the dogs did an amazing job. I think they were great little actors. It was just great. The Dalmatians were a little scary.
They were terrifying.
But I'm glad that with Cruella, they didn't make her as I hate dogs, because she actually had dogs.
She loved her little dog.
She loved her dogs. Yeah. So it's that's a little spoiler there, but it's nothing major. But yeah, she loved her dogs. So I'm glad that they drifted away from that.
They kind of they made her a villain without making her seem like pure evil. She was because obviously in the original 101 Dalmatians, or the song Cruella de Vil, if she doesn't scare you, know what other things will.
Right.
And I was they really hyped her up, and I was Loki, she was terrifying.
I mean, yeah, I would not want to see Cruella in an alley.
I would have thought I was gonna die right there.
Right.
But in this movie, you could kind of see that she was a good person at heart, and she had good morals.
Yes.
It's just that she had to do bad things to get where she needed to be.
Right. And again, that's not and what I like too about this movie is that, when Cruella was little, a little spoiler alert, you see a few things that you're kind of damn, she's being bullied, and wow, you feel bad for this kid. But what I appreciate from the movie which was a difference from the Joker, I feel the Joker was made and you're supposed to empathize with the Joker so much, and that's the part that makes you feel uncomfortable from the movie, is that you're man, I feel so bad for him. But I shouldn't because he's an asshole. He's killing.
He's being horrible.
He's horrible, but I understand why. And so it's crazy how with the Joker they play with your mind like that, right? But with Cruella, what I appreciated was that, as a kid, of course, you don't want to see a kid being tossed into a garbage can.
I know.
But it's she would get tossed into a garbage can, and then she would do something to those kids.
She did not. The parallels in that movie, I was mind blown because I rewatched that movie.
Yeah.
And I was the parallels between everything. I love rewatching movies and being able to tell, that's gonna come up later.
Right. Because and that's something that I appreciated, was that they didn't make her seem like a victim, right?
She didn't seem weak. She felt very
exactly
strong.
She was always very strong, and she owned up to who she was. And I think that that's what made her, for me, I didn't feel sorry for her. I liked her. It was kind of I like her.
She's good,
right? But I like her. She had her little friend, the girl,
only friend she had,
and she was kind of hi, nice to meet you. Whatever. Okay, let's be friends. And she stuck with her.
She did.
She stuck with her. She was nice to who were nice to her, which is a great moral of the story.
Treat people how you want to be treated.
Exactly. So honestly, Cruella taught us something. Treat people how you want to be treated.
Don't throw people into trash cans, guys.
Exactly. But talking about trash cans, I know you mentioned your favorite scene was the rock and roll scene when she has that runway show in front of the, what's her name? The Baroness's event. And for me, my favorite scene was when it was one of the Baroness's event and Cruella was on a roll, right? So you see all these different times when she's out there and she outstages her with her own fashion. And there's a specific scene where she comes out and she basically rolls out of this big garbage truck. And I think, wow, okay, she's just gonna dump a bunch of garbage there and just leave it there and be smelly, right? Because that's what you think.
Petty like that.
She's trying to be malicious. She's trying to do something, deviancy, right? But then she rolls out, and when she rolls out, it's just like this beautiful gowned fashion garbage thing.
You were just looking at it like, oh my god.
And then she kind of just starts laughing and they're driving away. And I think it's an amazing scene, and Emma Stone did an amazing job being Cruella. I think all the actors did. I think all the doggies that were used did an amazing job, but Emma Stone truly did a wonderful job. I've seen Emma Stone in other movies, and to be honest, my favorite one with Emma would have to be the film The Help. And the reason why I laugh is because every time I think of The Help, I think of that scene where she's like, what's the name? It's not Viola Davis. It's something Spencer. I forget her first name, but she goes up to the white lady and she's like, "Eat my shit," and she just gives her the pie, and the lady's like stuffing her face, and it's actual shit. And so I love the role that Emma Stone played in that film, but I have to say that now Cruella is like my top. It's top tier. It's amazing. Disney did an amazing job. All the actors did an amazing job. Like, you could tell that they all got into character and they knew the assignment. Yes. Yeah. It was amazing. It was truly amazing.
I remember people were worried, like, is Emma Stone gonna be scary enough? Or is she just gonna be like too soft to play the role?
I think she was great. I think she was a great mixture of both.
I remember, like, you could, like, I loved how she was able to balance being Estella, who was kind of this softer version, and then also going into this hardcore Cruella, which I think we see a lot in that montage. Even when she rides up on that motorcycle, she takes off the helmet, says "the future" on her face, and I was like, she was the future of fashion. And I was like, that was so cool to me.
Yeah, I think Emma did an amazing job. I think she's one of those actresses that people don't give enough credit to, I feel, because she's like, she's whatever. She hasn't really done, but I mean, I know she did like La La Land and Easy A and stuff, films that she's mostly known for. But for me, I thought the same thing up until she did The Help. I was like, wow, okay, like, this is an amazing film. I really like it. And now she did Cruella, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. But you know what? Just to cut this out, thank you, Leah, for joining me on this little Disney talk. Hopefully we're able to do this again. Thank you guys. If you guys are watching, trying to keep it nice and short. I will see you guys later. Peace. Bye, guys.